Hi everybody, how are you this morning? I'm still trying to adapt to being indoors, even though I look like I'm outdoors, with it being dark outside. So you'll be surprised to see this in the background. Anyway, let's talk about something exciting. So what I'm going to be doing on Monday night at 8 o'clock, I'm going to be speaking to this guy, Josh Quigley. Now, Josh Quigley holds the world record for the NC 500 cycling round the whole of Scotland. What does that mean? Well, Josh holds the record for cycling 516 miles in 31 hours and 17 minutes. That's 16 and a half miles an hour consistently for 31 hours and 17 minutes. So what is so inspiring about Josh? Well, would you believe it? Josh actually tried to commit suicide when he was younger. And he talks about his journey, and he will be talking about that on the night as well. So this is Josh's story, his suicide attempt. He talks about his turning point, the original story of the Tartan Explorer, because that's what he goes under, the Tartan Explorer, and his Forrest Gump moment, coming home, and his world record attempts to cycle round the world on numerous occasions, and how he's picked himself up every time, turned himself around. And also, you've probably seen him in the American news recently, and obviously online and stuff like that. He was hit by a car at 70 miles an hour coming from behind him, and he ended up in hospital, completely fractured bones and everything like that. So I'm going to be quite excited because I'm speaking to Josh and his journey on this Monday night at 8 o'clock. This is Josh's passion. He does numerous talks around the country now to the younger people and young people in terms of suicide awareness and to understand mental health. So, you know, that is Josh's mission, as well as he wants to win the Tour de France. And I've got a funny feeling he's going to do it. So watch this space, Josh Quigley, Tour de France. Anyway, let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. So just nod your head and say yes. What do we mean by that? Well, one of the most valuable lessons to diminish fear is embodied in the phrase, say yes to your universe. Now, I've got to laugh at that because all I think about is Jim Carrey and Yes Man. About him saying yes to everything. And that's what it conjures up for me. But this is not what I'm talking about. This is understanding the whole process. So whatever happens in your life, just nod your head up and down instead of shaking it from side to side, and just say yes instead of no. The term universe refers to the life plan that seems to take over despite what we actually have in mind. That force operating seamlessly on its own, that often interferes with our picture of how we would like things to be. It refers to a certain flow in our lives and the lives of others over which we have no or little control. So often we have all been set to move in a specific direction. An unexpected event changes everything in our lives. Those unexpected events, or even the possibility of unexpected sets us up for a great deal of fear. We anticipate the worst, and it's important to remember, saying yes lies the antidote to our fear. So just saying yes lies the antidote to our fear. So what do we mean by that? The phrase say yes means to agree. Those things in that life hands us, really, we're agreeing with them. Say yes means letting go of the resistance and letting in the possibilities that our universe offers in ways of seeing the world. It means to relax bodily and calmly survey the situation, thereby reducing upset and anxiety. So you're not actually agreeing with the situation as in part. You're actually just saying to yourself, look, I accept it, and I'm saying yes to it. You're not resisting it. You understand you can't do anything about it, but you're moving forward as a result of it. And a more relaxed approach to it. Aside from the emotional benefits and the physical benefits are actually enormous in this capacity. Conversely, saying no means to be a victim. How could this happen to me? Saying no means to block, to fight, to resist opportunities for growth and challenge. Saying no creates tension, exhaustion, wasted expenditure of energy, emotional upheaval, or worse, it creates apathy. I can't cope. I can't go on. There's no hope. The truth of the matter is saying yes is our only hope. Not only saying yes is our antidote to dealing with the day-to-day disappointments, rejections, and missed opportunities, Think about it. The flu, a leaking roof, traffic jam, flat tyre, a lousy. So let's talk about Charles. So Charles was somebody that actually grew up in the Bronx. Now, Charles was involved in gang warfare, and as a result, he was shot later on in his life, and it made him incapacitated, and he was paralysed and in a wheelchair for the rest of his days. Now, Charles actually spends his whole life now actually putting back into the community. He accepted his circumstances, and he gets more out of it now than he ever did before. Whereas before, his path was toiled with this life of resistance and curtailment and not being his usual self. So Charles chose to take that opportunity and teach the young youth of today in order to teach them not to do the same thing. And then Charles also went on to help other people as well, and many opportunities through what he did. So he never saw that situation where he was shot and paralysed and put in a wheelchair as an opportunity to lie down. He had to accept it at some point and say, look, I've got to move forward. I've got to move on, or that'll be him for the rest of his life. So as a result, Charles had been blinded to the fact that life actually really had meaning. Now he believes that he's more handicapped before the accident, only since deriving the satisfaction from living after the accident that he had. So when presented with this concept, if you always say yes to your universe, wouldn't you be able to avoid any feeling of pain? Someone said. And I thought about that for a moment, and I really thought about it. I thought, well, no, not really. You can't really avoid the pain about saying yes to the universe, but you can say yes to the pain and understand it's part of your life and your meaning and what you're doing. You do not then feel yourself a victim. You know that you can handle the pain as well as the situation causing the pain. You do not feel it is hopelessness. So really, in my final analysis, it can be said that your ability to cope effectively with the world around you corresponds to your ability to say yes to the universe, including the pain. So remember, acknowledgement of pain is very important. Denial is very deadly. Good morning, Alana. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Francis. How are you? Good morning, Andrea. Good morning, Anne-Marie. Good morning, David. Nice to see you back on. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at 7:30.